Hello everybody, welcome in. We're doing some anatomy and physiology. I have some lymphatic questions here, and I also have some chemistry questions, plus lymphatic system. We'll go ahead and get started here in just a few moments once we get some more people in here. I do have a couple practice questions for both chemistry and the lymphatic system. Hello everybody, how you guys doing? Thanks for joining, thanks for liking the live. I'd appreciate it if you guys gave the live a like here. The more likes you give, the more it'll push it out to people, and the more people we can get in here to help out. How's everyone doing this Sunday night? Welcome. Thanks for joining. Thank you guys so much for liking the live. I really appreciate it. Welcome in. I have a couple options here where we can start. I have lymphatic system and I have chemistry, and then I have some regular kind of multiple choice, and then I have some work through problems here that we can do as well. Some stoichiometry, Hess law, acid base, and some precipitation questions. Hello, welcome in. I guess can wait a couple more seconds here before we get started. How's everyone doing? Hello. Welcome in. Thanks for liking the live. This is for nursing? Yes, this is for nursing. It's kind of for pre-nursing, pre-med, on kinesiology or exercise science students. But these specifically are from, it was requested that, hi Pamela, how you doing? We have some chemistry problems here that were requested, and these are pre-nursing chemistry questions that I believe which should be pretty similar to what would be on the HESI or the TEAS exam. We're going to be doing a TEAS/HESI review on Friday this week. So definitely stick around for that if you're interested in that. But if you're just joining, welcome in. We're doing some more anatomy and physiology. Today specifically on chemistry and the lymphatic system. What kind of questions do they ask in Lab Exam 1? Vanessa, what chapters are those through? It kind of depends. Mostly, though, your first lab exam is going to be all the way up until the histology chapter. So, what time Friday? Probably in the morning, probably very early, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Friday. Get that done pretty early. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so for chapter 1, you want to know your anatomical terminology, what things are, what the frontal is, what the cephalic is, and then you want to know how to label those on the diagrams. For chapter 2, most likely chemistry related, probably want to focus on the macromolecules. And then cell biology, you want to focus on the organelle structures and their functions. And be able to label them on a diagram. Know the cell cycle, things like that. But anyway, you can find these questions on my Instagram afterwards, and then you can find the recording of it on YouTube. My Instagram is the same as my username, and then YouTube's linked in my bio. Alright. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for liking. The more that you guys like the live, the more people we can get in here to help out. But before I get started, where would you like to start with the chemistry? And because I have some practice problems here that I'll go through and work through for you guys, but I also have, I think the first 13 questions are kind of, thanks for following, guys. Thanks for the rose, Em. Appreciate it. Very kind of you. We have a few options here. What you guys want to do? We have then we have some multiple choice questions that we could do as well. We have some work through problems to show you how to do problems, and then I have lymphatic system planned. So it's really up to you guys what you want to go through first. So I can let you guys choose. But as soon as you guys choose, if you just want to go straight through problem to problem, we can do that. But as soon as Oh, thank you for the tiny diny. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you. Lymphatic. Clarissa says lymphatic. Is everyone else thinking we start off with lymphatic, then we move to chemistry? Either way is fine with me. Lymph. If one more person says lymphatic system, we'll go straight to lymphatic. At the end of the day, we're going to get to all of this, so whatever we get to 3 first. So if someone says lymphatic first, we'll start with that. Just a week. Chemistry. All right, we'll start with chemistry then, since we got 3 votes there. Physics, please, not tonight. Alrighty. So we're going to start off with some stoichiometry here. Thanks for following, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining, guys. If you're just joining, we're doing some anatomy and physiology, particularly with chemistry today. Alrighty. So the first question here, number 1, we have, I got a 50.5 out of 100 on my first chem exam. That's pretty rough. A normal saline solution, or 0.9%, NaCl is used for IV fluids. The reaction to dissolve sodium chloride in water is NaCl yields sodium and chloride. So, if you dissolve 9 grams of sodium chloride in 1 liter of water, what is the molarity of the solution? Just memorize the table. Alright, so for these ones here, I'm just going to start working through the problem here, and you guys can follow along. Again, this will be on YouTube afterwards. But I will do my math in blue here. So anyway, your notes say, my life today, I just took my exam and scored so good. Awesome, Jenny. I'm really glad that my notes helped you out. I appreciate hearing about that. It makes my day. I'm so glad that they helped you out. So simple for number 1 here. 9 grams of sodium chloride over 58.4 grams per mole. So, how did I get 58.44? That's essentially sodium chloride added up here. So we have 9 grams over the 58.44, which yields 1.54 molar, which just rounds to 0.15. So we have A is the correct answer here. It's probably so I can do this in theoretical yield. Gotcha. And the answer to number 1 is A. So for number 2 here. Oh, practice makes perfect. Practice does make perfect. The liver metabolizes ethanol using oxygen, and the reaction is shown here. So if 2 moles of ethanol are metabolized, how many moles of oxygen gas are required? Are these on the MCAT? They can be on the... Some of this, yes, will be on the MCAT. It's like pretty general chemistry problems here. But anyway, so how we do this question here is... So, isn't this chemistry? Yes, this is chemistry. Chemistry is on the MCAT, and it's on a lot of people's pre-nursing exam, like the T's and the HSI. 10th grade chemistry, LOL. Yeah, I mean, you'll definitely have this on your, I'm not sure about paramedic license. I mean, you're going to have this on your gen chem, your pre-nursing chem. This stuff shows up over and over again. It's not just 10th grade chemistry. But anyway, here for every 1 ethanol, we need 3 oxygens. So for 2 moles of ethanol, essentially all we're doing here is multiplying this by 2, so we just need 6 moles of O2. So that would make our correct answer for number 2 is C, is 6 moles. Moving on to number 3. We have dextrose is commonly used in IV fluids to provide energy to patients. If you dissolve 25 grams of dextrose in 500 milliliters or 0.5 liters of water, what is the molarity of the solution? In high school and then college and Gen Chem, OChem. I haven't seen it at all. I definitely had this in my Gen Chem. OChem and Biochem, you would not see this in OChem or Biochem. Not currently for MCAT study guides. Some people apparently have some Gen Chem questions on their A&P, so that's why we're going over it today. Alright. So starting off for this question, 25% static OSC, gotcha. Alright, so we have 25 grams of dextrose. And then when we add up here, the atomic weight of this is going to be 180.16 grams per mole. So how I'm getting this is, again, dextrose here. When you add up their molecular weights, we get 180.16. You divide that, and you get 0.139 moles. So once we have the moles, we have to calculate the molarity. So for the molarity here, we have to take this 0.139 moles. We're doing some more anatomy and physiology topics. We're doing lymphatics after this chemistry chapter here. And then I do have some A&P, some general A&P questions in the chemistry section as well. Take it by 0.5 liters as we were trying to dissolve it in half a liter of water. Divide these, and you get 0.28 molarity, which is C. So your 25% chance stab at it was correct, Caden. I'm so smart, yeah. Anyway, moving on to number 4. We have a nurse needs to prepare 0.25 molarity of sodium chloride solution for a patient. How many grams of sodium chloride, which has a molar mass of 58.44 grams per mole, are needed to make 750 milliliters, or 0.75 liters of this solution? Thanks for following, and thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing the live, and thanks for liking the live, guys. I appreciate it. Do they provide converted units? Normally, no. I'm doing it here just for time convenience. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Normally, you have to convert milliliters to liters. Sometimes you have to convert milligrams to grams, things like that. But at this point, I'm assuming if you're this far in stoichiometry, you should know how to do that already. So I'm just putting. What anatomy is this? This is for somebody's pre-nursing class. That was a couple people have requested some of these type of problems. So we'll start off with some Gen Chem / like pre-nursing chemistry, and then the questions more so at the end here are more anatomy and physiology based, but apparently some people have some of these questions in their anatomy and physiology. So we can go through it anyway, just to make sure everybody is all good. I always love these type of problems. Not me. I hate doing these problems. Again, can you have a bio? Yeah, just send me I'll put my email up here. Send me an email what bio topics you want to see. For my professors, I use a cheat sheet. That's not fair. I wish I could have used the cheat sheet. But for our molarity, we have moles divided by liters. So our moles is going to equal 0.25 m times. I can't email, is messed up. Send me a DM then, Jade. Front and back. Wow, that's 0.75. Oh, this is liters. So you multiply this together, and you get 0.175 moles. Basically just an easy grade. I can see that. Yeah, definitely one of the lucky ones, that's for sure. Anyway, so now we have our mass, which is our moles. I start AMP very soon. I'm going to start studying early. What would you say to focus on? Definitely medical terminology and anatomical terminology, and just some like basic anatomy. This is on Good Notes. Times molar mass. Alright, so to get our mass here, we have to do the moles that we just got up here. This is 1875. And then times our molar mass of sodium chloride, which is 58.44 grams per mole. And then when we multiply these together, we get 10.96, which rounds up to about 11 grams. What do I say about the hardest part to learn in anatomy? I think a lot of people have trouble memorizing all the bones and landmarks and the internal skull, all the muscles and insertions and origins, things like that. I have a calculator with me. It's already all set up. I also practiced these beforehand, so I made sure I knew how to do them. So I have practiced these ahead of time. Do I help with chemistry? Yes, we're doing chemistry right now. So we're doing some chemistry right now. Alright, we're moving on to number 5 here. We have lactated Ringer solution is this an iPad? Yes. Lactated Ringer solution contains calcium chloride to help replenish electrolytes. So how many grams of calcium chloride are needed to make 1.5 liters of a 0.2 molarity calcium chloride solution? Thanks for joining and thanks for following, guys. I really appreciate it. I would appreciate if you guys like the live. We can get more people in here to help out. Chemistry, just like a lot of the math and all the conversions, and just paying attention and doing a lot of work under a very. Have a good night. Thank you for this. Yeah, no problem. It'll be on YouTube afterwards, or the pictures of the questions will be on Instagram. So the recording will be on YouTube afterwards. But anyway, here, moving on. So the hardest part about chemistry is just paying attention. This is Good Notes. Just paying attention to the math here and your conversions. Like I'm giving a lot of like right now here, and I gave seems worth. Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. So I gave the molar mass in this question, but normally you have to calculate it on your own. So you would have to calculate Na and Cl and add them together. Or for this, you'd have to convert 750 milliliters to liters. But for now here, moving on to number 5. Our moles. It's organic chem. No, this is general chemistry / like pre-nursing chemistry. It's going to be our molarity times our liters. So 0.20 molarity times our 1.5 liter solution, giving us 0.30 moles. Will I use this in real life scenarios as an scenarios besides convert or OChem basically? You'll probably use a little bit of it, just certainly for like IV bags and such, but probably not as extensive as you'd think, but you still have to know how to do it. It's probably going to be on your pre-nursing exam. But here we're looking at our mass, which again, up here we have our moles times our molar mass. So we have our 0.30 times our molecular mass of 110.98. Just got Gen Chem 2 flashbacks. Goodbye for now. Goodbye. Yeah, sorry for the flashbacks. But anyway, this gives us 33.3, which rounds down to approximately 33 grams. Have to learn more than basic chem? Sometimes, yes. Apparently, some people have, so I'm going through it today. I've had a lot of requests for some general chemistry type questions like this, some like math, stoichiometry. Moving on to Hess law and stuff just to teach that, so. So I just did the first 5 questions here for stoichiometry. Went over the calculations for that. Again, I'm going to move on to Hess law now, but the pictures of these will be on my Instagram afterwards, and then it seems so. Yes. Is this kind of chem like on the Hesi exam? Yes, this is most likely going to be on your Hesi exam. That's why I've been getting requests to do these type of questions. So that's why we're going over these today. But we're going to do a Hesi/Cheese review on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, this recording will be on YouTube afterwards if you missed any of the questions. All right, moving on to Hess law. So ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is the body's energy currency. So the breakdown of ATP into ADP releases energy according to this reaction here, which I've listed below here. If the reverse reaction occurs, what would the enthalpy change be? I take the Hesi on Friday. Oh, I thought I had it down, but looking at this is making me nervous. You just gotta do some practice questions. That's all. You should be fine. You definitely got this. But according to the Hess's law, whenever you perform the opposite reaction, you are changing the sign. So I don't actually need that. So if we have a negative number here, so we have a negative number here. So according to the Hess law, we would change it to positive 30. So it'd be C. Let me see. Do we know why we did that? According to the Hess law, whenever you're performing the reverse reaction, it would flip the sign. Alrighty. Number 7. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for following. Moving on to number 7 now. Thanks for following. Thanks for joining the live. I appreciate you guys. All my notes are definitely on my website as well if you guys are looking for those. Just give me a moment here. Moving on to number 7 now. So this is a bit of a longer question. So the glucose metabolism in the body follows this reaction. So I've listed this reaction here below. Glucose plus 6O2 equals carbon dioxide and water. And our enthalpy change is negative 2,870. So where do we start off with this question? So we have to see how much energy it takes to form carbon dioxide. So how we do that here is we have... can you teach me how to balance the equations? I don't know why I don't get it. So first, yeah, I can do that on a live another time. Why not 0? It's because you flip whenever. So it's... So if this reaction here is just now this reaction, which would make 6C plus 6O2 yields 6CO2, which gives us negative 3993.5 kJ per mole. And then we have to form carbon dioxide next. I'm sorry, not carbon dioxide. We have to form water next, so H2 plus 1/2 of O2 yields H2O. And our enthalpy change for that would be negative 285.8 kg per mole. And again, you just add these up and multiply them. So then what do we do from here? So if we have each molecule here, so each molecule of carbon dioxide, adding up here to negative 393, what we do here is we take the 6CO2 and we multiply that by this number. So 6 times negative 393.5 kilojoules per mole is going to give us negative 2,361 kilojoules. And then we have to do water as well. So again, we have our 6 molecules of water, and then we have to multiply that by our negative 285.8 kilojoules per mole, and then that gives us negative 1714.8 kilojoules. So essentially here we have to add up the total energy now. So which you would add up this number and this number, giving us negative 4,071.8 kilojoules. And then we're given the enthalpy of glucose here, which is positive 1,205. So what we do there is we add this 1,205 to our 4,071. So when we take this 0.8 and we add 205, I'm so glad my NPT isn't this hard. Yeah, apparently some people have this. Can you explain muscle contraction stimulation to me? I've been actually posting some videos on it. I started going over the neuromuscular junction. We're going over it. We have a live on Tuesday for that. But I've been posting videos on that. So stay on the lookout on my page for that. But right now we're not doing muscular system. But you add these up together here, and then you get negative 2,870 kilojoules. I have my email up here. If you want to send me some live topic requests, please send that to me, and we can do a live on it. I'm looking for live requests, but right now we have a plan. Pharma so hard? Yes, I know. I can do some pharmacy one day if people would like. I am so confused. Okay. So for this one here, you are normally given a chart here that gives you how much enthalpy is calculated from carbon and oxygen and carbon dioxide. So you add these up, so you multiply them by 6 each, and you should get this number. Same thing with ox from water. Add those up, and then however many, so we have 6 CO2s and 6 H2Os. So we're taking both these numbers, multiplying them by 6, and then adding them together. And from the number there, we have to take from our glucose enthalpy, we have to add these together, and that's how we get A. Alrighty. But we're moving into some easier questions now. So just some quick practice questions, and then we'll move on. So number 8 here. What is the pH of a 0.0025 molarity HCl solution? Essentially how you do that, you just take the log. Easy question. So pH equals the negative log of whatever our acid is here, our substance. So we have negative log of 0.0025. So our pH, put this into a calculator, and you should get 2.6. That here. So moving on to number 9. Number 9 asked a 0.10 molarity solution of acetic acid has a Ka of 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth. Hold on, this got messed up and then I put it in here. To the negative fifth. What is the pH of the solution? So what we have to do here is we have to take our acid and our Ka. So our acid here is 0.10 molarity, and then our Ka is 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth. So then our equation here is our ice table. Acid over our chain. So essentially here this becomes our x squared over our 0.10. So we should get x equals, so if you move these around, our Ka again is 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth. So we'll get x, we have to square root this. So we get our 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth. I'll multiply that by 0.110 and square root that, and then we should get 2.87 as our pH. Alrighty, moving on to number 10. This is for pharmacy. This is for more so like pre-nursing. But moving on, so I went through and showed you guys how to do some of these problems. So moving on here, these are ones that we can answer all together here. So I'll go through these and I'll let you guys comment what you think the answer is, and then we can go over it. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking the live, everybody. I really appreciate you guys. Alrighty. So number 10 here asks, which of the following reactions would form a precipitate? This is not biochem. It's like general chemistry, pre-nursing chemistry, things like that. So which of the following reactions will form a precipitate? Does anyone want to take a guess on what the answer might be for that one? So we have A, B, C, or D. I did finish going through all the problems, and I will post this to my YouTube afterwards. If you would like to go through and rewatch it. This kind of material that'd be on my biochem. That's why very useful videos for me. Okay, good. Yeah, I know I didn't have to do this when I was in biochem, so I did do some different type of calculations. Thanks for joining and following the live, guys. I really appreciate it. But I'll give you guys a couple more seconds here if you want to answer. Anyone want to take a guess? If not here, the answer is going to be B. That's because we form silver chloride, so AgCl, which is solid. So again, we're forming a solid, so otherwise known as S. So that is why that answer is there. I'm getting PTSD from Gen Chem. Yeah, so I moved on to a different type of question after the Hess law. We just did some like Hess law questions, then we moved on. Alright, so number 11, is this anatomy and physiology? For some people it is. We're going to be on some lymphatic system anatomy and physiology here in just a couple minutes. What is the net ionic equation for the reaction BaCl2 plus Na2CO4, or SO4, sorry. So what is the net equation for the reaction between this? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer. But the net equation here is going to be B. Number 12, which compound is insoluble in water? Again, we went over this in this question up here. So our precipitate was AgCl, which is a solid. So again, if it's a solid and soluble in water, we have AgCl. Silver chloride. Number 13, which of the following is an example of a precipitation reaction in the human body? So we form a solid. So, if you think about it here, what exactly here is forming a solid? Not necessarily liquid or a gas or a molecule, but so the formation of kidney stones, production of ATP, breakdown of proteins, and release of oxygen. So the answer is A, formation of kidney stones. Calcium octate is oxalate is a solid. Again, if you get to kidney stones, they are very painful. You normally urinate them out, and they come out in the form of a solid, and they are miserable to have. All right, moving on to number 14. Some more general basic questions now. So we're moving away from the math portion. Number 14, which element is the most abundant in the human body by mass? We have carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, or nitrogen. Which element is the most abundant in the human body by mass? So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer that if you guys just want to type A, B, C, or D in the chat. It's not nitrogen. It's not nitrogen. Think about like what our body is mostly made of. I'm talking about by mass. Give you guys a couple more seconds to answer. So the answer here is B, oxygen. So oxygen actually makes up 65% of our body mass. This is mainly through water. So mainly through water. And yes, I know there's two hydrogens there, but oxygen has a higher molecular mass. Hydrogen is the lightest, yes. So hydrogen is very light. Oxygen is a little heavier. So again, water is what really makes up a lot of our body mass. So number 15, which of the following is an example of an organic molecule? Thanks for joining the lab, guys. I appreciate you guys joining. If you're just joining here, we're going over some anatomy and physiology questions. I'm doing some chemistry in them, some lymphatics. I appreciate you guys joining and liking the live. The more that you guys like the live, the more people will end up in here, and then we can help out a lot more people. But right now, I made these questions. I would like to access them. I made these questions. They'll be on my Instagram afterwards, and then they will also, the recording of this will be on my YouTube afterwards as well. Link to that is in my bio. Again, we're on number 15 here, which an example is an example of an organic molecule. An organic molecule. If we learn the definition of an organic molecule here, I'll explain it afterwards. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to answer the question. Thanks for joining. Thanks for liking the live, guys. Thanks for following. I appreciate you guys. All right, so the answer is glucose, A. Essentially why this is because organic molecules have carbon plus hydrogen in them. Glucose is a carbohydrate, which is one of the major organic macromolecules. The others being lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. I'll put macro up here. Water. Water and sodium chloride. These are both, I'll put this in red. These are both inorganic Water is inorganic. And then carbon dioxide does have carbon, yes, but there's no hydrogen in it. Alrighty. Are we good on that one there? Organic is carbon. Yes, organic is carbon and hydrogen based. So, if you've ever heard of like the carbon backbone, that's essentially what's organic. That's where we get organic chemistry. Everything has to do with carbon. All right, moving on. Again, I kind of just answered this, but number 16, the 4 major macromolecules in the body are what? Hopefully you guys are paying attention. Give you guys a couple seconds here to answer. Thanks for joining. If you're just joining here, we are going over some anatomy and physiology practice problems, letting you guys answer them, and then we're going through the answers as to why they're right and why they're wrong. But again here, the answer is B. Carbs, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So number 17 here, what is the main or primary function of lipids in the body? So again, we have carbs, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. They are the 4 major macromolecules. Lipids are fats, right? Yes, they are. So I'm not sure. So, the answer is A, long-term energy storage. So, explaining this, so long-term energy storage is what fats are used for. Carbohydrates are for energy, yes, but they are more immediate energy production. So if you look, you'll eventually get into biochemistry and energetics and such. But glycolysis gets energy really fast from glucose, and then you have anaerobic things that get, or aerobic, from long-term energy storage in the form of fats. Catalyzing chemical reactions, that describes a protein, and then carrying genetic information is a nucleic acid. Alrighty. So number 18, which of the following is not a function of proteins? Not a function of proteins. I do have quite a funny story about the next one, I guess. The following is not a function of proteins. C, yes. Energy storage. They are not used for energy. Contrary to popular belief, I had a lot of friends in college that always were like, I'm going to get... They would take scoops of energy, of like the protein powder energy or just protein powder, and they're like, oh, I got to get my protein in with my energy. And I would always tell them, like, oh, that's like not going to, just scooping pre-workout, a bunch of protein isn't going to give you energy. You don't use protein in the form of energy. How do we build muscle by consuming over proteins? It's important for structure. That's like a whole process of, you create little micro tears in your muscles, and then your body repairs that by putting amino acids into place. That's a long explanation that we don't really have time for. But moving on here, number 19, which type of bond holds the 2 strands of DNA together? What type of bond holds the 2 strands of DNA together? Got an exam at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I haven't said I'm cooked. AJ, oh no. What's your exam on? That's not good. We don't want you to be cooked. If you're just joining the live now, thanks for joining. Thanks for following, and thanks for liking the live. We're going over some anatomy and physiology practice problems. You guys are answering them. Where can these questions be found? They're going to be on my Instagram afterwards, and then they're also going to be, the recording is going to be on YouTube afterwards. The link to that will be in my bio. But anyway, here, the type of bond that holds 2 strands of DNA together is a hydrogen bond. A. Yeah, no problem. So hydrogen bonds are what form the bond between complementary bases in DNA. And so they're generally pretty weak bonds. And this is really important because what does our DNA do? What happens to our DNA a lot? We're constantly replicating DNA. So we have to unzip and zip certain things, so our certain bases together. And we want to make sure that's easy but pretty secure as possible. So that's why hydrogen bonds are typically used. Zoom in. Is that better? So for the lymphatic system. Gotcha. We're about to actually do the lymphatic system right after this. We have like 8 more questions, and then we're going to do the lymphatic system. I also what's your exam on, Naz? So anyway, number 20, the blood of pH, or the pH of blood is normally what? Thanks for liking the live, guys. Thanks for following. I really appreciate you guys. Cellular molecular bio. Oh, good luck on that, Naz. You got this. Yes, fantastic. It is A. It's 7.35 to 7.45. So blood is slightly basic or alkaline. What's the best way to study / understand physiology lectures? Explaining it out loud, honestly, going through and seeing if you can. So look at like a PowerPoint slide or like a section of your textbook, and then look away and see if you can recall the information from it without looking. Or like if you make a flow chart and then constantly try to make sure you can go through. Anyway, number 21 here. Which of the following is a key characteristic of water that makes it essential for life? Water has a few different properties that makes it essential for life. I'll give you guys a couple seconds. Thanks for following and thanks for liking the live. I really appreciate you guys. I'm really happy you guys are here. Thanks for joining on this nice Sunday night. All right, you guys got it. The answer is A. So water is able to absorb and retain heat, and that helps regulate body temperature and maintain homeostasis. That's number 22. Moving on. That's ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is important because what is the main function of ATP? What is it primarily responsible for doing in the body? Where's the video for the cardiovascular system? I don't find it. So it's also with the nervous system. It's also in the nervous system. So you might just be seeing nervous system, but it's in there as well. It's the second half of the video. But if you want to send me an email, the link that is on my website, I can send you the direct link to it as well if you'd like, if you're still having trouble. Alrighty, let me just make sure. Sorry, can you explain the characteristics of water? I absolutely can. We'll do that real quick. But definitely memorize these for sure. You'll definitely need to know them. But anyway, real quick, and then I'll give you guys the answer for. Or I guess I'll give you the answer for number 22 real quick. But it provides energy for cellular processes. And while you guys answer number 23, what macromolecule is responsible for storing genetic information, we can go over the characteristics of water. So water has high heat capacity. It also has a high heat of vaporization, which is it has a higher temperature for boiling. So if you think about that, whenever the sun gets really hot and it's going on the ocean, if it didn't have high heat of vaporization, it would all evaporate, and we wouldn't have any water. But it is the universal solvent. So essentially this is what is for dissolving things and such. And then it's reactivity. So like hydrolysis or dehydration reactions. And then cushioning. Meaning that it is able to protect our organs. Why is... Let me see. Inbox. Where can I send you an email? It's on my website. Classes for anatomy and physiology. My first physio exam tomorrow. Good luck. Why isn't C correct? For which one? For 21 or 22? Whoever just said that. For number 21, it's not an organic molecule because it has carbon, and for number 22, it is not considered a neurotransmitter. For 23, the answer is C, nucleic acid. You guys are awesome. Thanks for answering, and thanks for participating. I appreciate you guys. Our organic molecule is a molecule that contains carbon. Yes, that is true. Thank you. Thanks for following. Thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here. Moving on. 24. Enzymes are primarily composed of what macromolecule? Primarily composed of what macromolecule? Give you guys a couple more seconds on that one. Awesome, awesome. It is C, proteins. Enzymes are primarily composed of proteins. Can you wish my brother a happy birthday? Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday. Of course I'm willing to, excuse me, wish him a happy birthday. Definitely happy birthday. I hope that he has a great birthday. Anyway, 25. How do enzymes speed up chemical reactions? No, these are not. They are all proteins, yes. Alright, so I'm getting a couple different answers on this one here. Is this AP Bio? This is for anatomy and physiology normally. Alright, so again here. So how do enzymes speed up chemical reactions? The answer here is B, by decreasing the activation energy. So if we have a graph here, so they speed up, so enzymes, as we know, they speed up chemical reactions. And so if this is our normal graph here, and let's do this. So this is without an enzyme here, without enzyme. So we have to build up energy and increase energy. So we're adding energy, and as soon as we hit a certain amount of energy that we need to activate the cellular process occurs, and then energy decreases, and then we get our product. And what enzymes do is they decrease the activation area, meaning that so less energy has to be used here as opposed to getting up to here. Does that make sense? They lower the activation at allowing to occur. This is good notes. Activation site and active site should be the same thing. Were you good on that one? My brother watches your streams regularly. His name is Dylan. Well, happy birthday to Dylan. Thank you for watching my streams regularly, and that I hope he has a great day. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. It is typically your major currency of energy. Literally learned this 4 months ago in AP Bio. This is why I feel. See. I do not have anything for physics currently. But anyway, number 26, you guys are already answering it. Awesome. But C is the activation. So the region of the enzyme where the substrate binds is called the active site. But this is it's just not called. This is just an ill term for it in a way. This is for anatomy and physiology. But anyway, number 27, in cellular respiration, ATP is primarily generated through the breakdown of... Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that. In cellular respiration, ATP is primarily generated through the breakdown of... Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that. If you're just joining, thank you for joining. Thanks for joining on Sunday night. Do you have a YouTube channel where we can watch your videos? Yes, it's linked in my bio. All of these live streams, they are up for a replay on there. They get uploaded either the same night of, or the morning of. But the answer here, good job guys, is C, carbohydrates. So here's our, here, 24. And then we'll move on to number 28 here, but I'll read the question here. Number 28 is what happens when ATP is broken down into ADP, known as adenosine diphosphate. Yes, carb is the first source of energy. And then move on to the lymphatic system. But yes, I do have a YouTube. It's linked in my bio, and then all the replays of these lives are on there. And then on Instagram, I post the pictures and the notes that we do. And then I also have all my study guides that I used while I was in anatomy and physiology. They're on my website, and they are also linked in my bio. Yes, I do these every day. I will be live again tomorrow morning not tomorrow morning. I will be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. My bio midterm is tomorrow. Thanks for following, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. Wow. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You guys always make my day. So the answer is A, energy is released. As we go to ADP here, we have a triphosphate. So tri meaning 3, di meaning 2. So we're taking less here. We lose a phosphate. Where do you find these tests? I just make them myself. Just curious about chemistry. Yes, I did chemistry earlier in this video. And you can watch the replay on my YouTube afterwards. So whenever you break things down, you release energy from them. And then whenever you build things up, like if we were building up ATP with ADP, we would have to store energy into this bond. Have an AMP exam tomorrow. This really helps. Awesome. I'm glad. Good luck on your AMP exam tomorrow. But that was all. What is my YouTube name? I would definitely be following you. It's linked in my bio, but it's just my name here. I'm just gonna, just real quick, just because we kind of finished chemistry here for a sec. I'm gonna put my YouTube here. It's linked in my bio. I'm gonna give you guys my other handles where you can find the picture. So you can find the pictures of notes, and then my study guides are on my website. Link to that is in my bio as well. And then tomorrow I'll be live again. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, we're not done yet. We have another chapter to do real quick. Do I do Mad Marker? I can, yeah. Can I do bio? Yeah, I can. Just send me, and then here's my email. So for my email, you guys can send me live topic requests, and I will do them. So that's my email as well. Hey, how are you, Ice Beauty? Are the systems next? I need to brush up. Yes. Ollie, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Yes, we're doing lymphatic system next. Also, we're going to do a Tease/Hezi review. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. I haven't seen you in a good... Yeah, I know. I haven't seen you in a good bit either. Thanks for following, guys. Question, when you are changing ADP to ATP, are you getting a phosphate? Yes, you do. So you're going from diphosphate, meaning 2, to triphosphate, meaning 3. Oh, I take it Thursday, 8:30. Good luck. Alrighty. I'm going to move on to the lymphatic system now. Any recommendations for how to remember the different muscles for lab and practical? Definitely practice. For one, go through and label them on your diagrams. I'll be going over by tomorrow. Let me see what I'm going over tomorrow. I have a little... I think I'm going over the nervous system tomorrow. But if you, again, I have my email here. If there's a topic you want to see on a live, just send me an email and I'll put it in there. I reply to those first and I prioritize those. This is good notes. But anyway, number 1. What is the main function of the lymphatic system? I have a test on Tuesday, first thing in the morning. I need tips, chapters, how to study. What is your test on? And I can definitely give you some tips. Thanks for following, guys. I really appreciate you. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to answer this one. Again, if you're just joining here, we are going over the lymphatic system now. Hopefully this can be a good review for your lymphatic exam coming up, or if you need some lymphatic review for your Hezi or Tease exam. And the Tease test on Tuesday. Oh, good luck. I just studied this today for the Tease. B. Yeah, we're going to start off... It starts off with some easier questions, and then we will get into some harder, more difficult questions near the end. So number 2, which of the following is a primary lymphoid organ? I also have a lot of my study guides on my website as well, if you guys want to grab those. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer. Number 2, which of the following is a primary lymphoid organ? Good luck on your exam tomorrow. All right, if you're just joining, welcome. We're doing the lymphatic system. Alrighty, I'll give you guys the answer here. Physiology midterm. Good luck on your midterm. Alright, anyway, our answer here is B. So the thymus is where T cells mature. The spleen so the lymph nodes are these are a secondary lymphoid organ, not a primary one. So this is not where T cells mature. The spleen filters blood. Filters blood. Plus stores, but doesn't produce any immune cells. And then tonsils. Oh, not a primary organ. Number 3, lymph is most similar to which body fluid? Lymph is most similar to which body fluid? It's on skeletal system, muscular system, tegumentary, nervous. I recommend for your exam. Do I do one-on-one tutoring? Yep, it's available on my website. Also, if I missed one of your questions, please repeat it in the comments. I just might miss it sometimes. The fact that I just studied this in nursing school and can't even go the answer. No, you're all right. That's all right. I'd rather you not get it here than on your exam. I have an NHA exam coming up. Good luck. Your bracelets, yeah. Thank you. I love these bracelets. I've had them for a very long time. It's on skeletal system, muscular, integumentary, and nervous in the senses. I definitely recommend going through and practice labeling your diagrams. Can you scroll down, please? Up here, did you need to see some of these? Just make sure. So the answer here is B, blood plasma. Number 4, what structure filters lymph and removes pathogens before returning fluid to circulation? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer this one here. Again, if you wait, what if there's 3 of us? Me and my. I can definitely give you guys a discounted rate if there's 3 of you in one study group for sure. Just send me an email about that. It's on my website. We can work something up for that. If you want to do 3 of you. I'll email you. Thank you, friend. Yeah, no problem. Also, check my website for the tutoring prices, but we can work together on that one there. For sure. The answer is B, the lymph node. The lymph node is responsible for filtering lymph and removing pathogens before returning the fluid to the circulation. Alrighty. And number 5. Are all the answers B? No, they're not all B. Sometimes they end up being like that, but they're not all B. Although, a lot of answers end up tending being B whenever I try to randomize them, but sometimes it always gets messed up. Anyway, we're on number 5 now. Which type of blood cell is responsible for producing antibodies? It's producing antibodies. Nervous system next. Yeah, I'm doing nervous system tomorrow night. I did a nervous system the other day. It's on YouTube. The link to that's in my bio. So the answer to 5 is C, B cells. So T cells don't produce antibodies, but they directly attack cells. So do not produce antibodies. These just directly attack cells. Macrophages engulf pathogens. I'm just going to put pathos. Like debris and whatnot. And then neutrophils are just a type of white blood cell. So these are not they do not produce antibodies. Do not produce antibodies. Alrighty. Let me just make sure I look through the comments here real quick before we move on. I'll scroll down a little bit so we can look at the next question. Antibody equals B cells. That's definitely, that's a good way to remember it. But 6, what is the function of the spleen in the immune system? What is the function of the spleen? Lab exam for bones, joints, and movements. Good luck on that. Good luck on your lab. Do you need some tips on that? Or cells of plasma, yes. Thanks for following and sharing the live. I missed somebody's. Yes, antibody equals B cells. I remember. That's a great way to remember it. I have an exam on this topic. Awesome. Hopefully we can definitely help you out for that exam. But if you're just joining the live, thanks for joining. Thanks for following. I really appreciate you guys. All my study guides are on my website as well. These will be posted to YouTube afterwards. I really appreciate when you guys like and share the live as well. I like trying to help as many people as we can. Give you guys a couple more seconds to answer this one here. Round number 6. I'm on this unit, it's so confusing. Yeah, lymphatic is a little confusing sometimes. You really got to pay attention to where things come from, what happens, where they mature, things like that. Alrighty, I'll give you guys the answer here. So it is B. It filters blood and destroys old red blood cells. Essentially, this allows us to, I'll put little arrows, recycle iron. Some people actually don't have their spleen, which makes them a little more susceptible to things like, I don't know, like salmonella or things like that. I had a friend get salmonella like almost like a couple months after he got his spleen removed. Alrighty. So, which type of immunity? We're on number 7 now, guys. Moving on. What type of immunity is acquired after recovering from an infection? And yeah, I can explain 7 here. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer, and then we'll explain. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer. I'm really listening to this, and I'm in 9th grade. Congratulations. This is good stuff. Everyone should learn about this as soon as possible, in my opinion. That's what I think. Sorry to bother you, but I couldn't find the one-on-one tutoring info nearby. It's on my website. So you have to go to my website that's linked in my bio. And then you should be able to... There's a tutoring tab on there. Alrighty. The answer is D. It is active immunity. So, active immunity is when your body produces its own immune response. So, produce own immune response to a particular pathogen, or in this case, like what we're following the infection. So this happens when you're recovering from an infection. Your immune system recognizes plus remember. So I'm gonna put slash plus remember. Like if you think about this, just in the of things that you're like learning. Whenever you're learning something, they always say you should do active recall. So you're in the same way. Your immune system is actively recalling pathogens, making it easier to attack them in the future. So it's going to be less severe whenever you come across this in the future. So hopefully that's a good little explanation. But that's the way I always kind of remembered it. But why these other ones are wrong? Passive immunities is whenever you have antibodies are like transferred. So like a good example of that is, hold on, let me finish writing this in. Whenever like a newborn baby, so I'll put newborn babies. So newborn babies receive antibodies from their mother's breast milk or via the placenta during pregnancy. They can also receive antibody injections or like antivenom. That's also passive immunity. This is like a temporary immunity, so it's not seen as like longer lasting. Innate immunity is like non-specific. Essentially, it's like the barriers, like skin, like mucous membrane, stuff like that. Like just general, like your general immune response. And then artificial immunity is like vaccinations. So vaccines. All right, so hopefully that was a good. Was that a good explanation? Are we all set for that one? Just want to make sure we're all set before we move on. Thanks for following, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You guys definitely make my day. I appreciate all the likes, all the follows, all the gifts that you guys are giving me too is fantastic. It's more than I could ever ask for. Needed this? Fantastic. What type of iPad do I have? I have a second generation 12.9-inch iPad. I kind of like the bigger screen. I have it like oriented vertically, but normally I have it kind of sideways so I can kind of make my notes a little. I kind of like to get. I feel like I get more on the page when I do it like that. But my notes are on my website if you want those as well. All right, moving on. I get them notes. They're on my website. A link to that. You can just go to my bio. All right, so we're going to move on now to number 8 here. And what role do lymphatic capillaries play in the body? Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys as well. I appreciate you guys a lot. But if you're just joining us, thanks for joining. Thanks for the rose. I really appreciate you. If you're just joining, we're going over some lymphatic system anatomy and physiology right now. The recording to this will be on my YouTube afterwards, and then the actual questions and my notes from this will be on my Instagram afterwards. Alrighty, it looks like we got a lot of you answering here. But yes, the answer is A. That is correct. Absorb excess tissue fluid and transport it to the larger lymphatic vessels. Alrighty, so we talked a little bit about what the innate immune system is. So number 9 asks, which of the following is not part of the innate immune system? And then also, if I do miss a question, definitely feel free to put it back in. Sometimes I just miss them throughout, you guys answering questions and whatnot. But I'm definitely not trying to ignore you. So don't think I'm ignoring you. Moving on. Which of the following is not part of the innate immune system? Hopefully here. How often do I go live? I go live every single day except for Saturdays, so Sunday through Friday. So any tips for physio studying? I'm doing solid so far, but want to make sure I can secure Nate. So yeah, so the best thing here is to explain it out loud for physio. So be able to explain processes out loud to like teach it to somebody else. If you can teach it to somebody else, like you're totally good. You definitely are good if you can teach it out loud to somebody else for sure. Hello, everybody. If you're just joining, what time? It kind of depends on the day. Like tomorrow will be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yes, the answer is C. It is antibodies. Someone asked. Make sure. Did I miss any questions or anything? Maybe something you have? Yes. Natural killer cells proliferate, poke holes, and pathogens. Yes, that's true. The skin is part of the innate immune system. So again, innate is like your non-specific, like general immune response. So your skin has, white blood cells. It has an inflammatory response. So it's like the initial thing that goes on. Moving on to number 10 here. Which organ is responsible for T cell maturation, where T cells mature? If you're just joining, thanks for joining. There's a lot of you in here now. I appreciate it. Thanks for liking the live, guys. Thanks for following. The more that you guys like the live. Where do I get these questions from? I make them myself. So these are made by me. You can get these on Instagram. All this stuff will be on Instagram afterwards, and then the recording will be on YouTube. The answer is C. It is the thymus. That's how I wrote, like T thymus equals T. So thymus equals T cell. That's how I always remembered that one. Yes, they're produced in bone marrow and matured in thymus. Is this for nursing? Yes, it is. Yes, they activate the lymphatic system. This is hard because technically lymphocytes. Yes. So T cells. They start in bone marrow. And then they go to the thymus. So produced and mature. If you think about like yourself, like when you're born, most typically, generally, you are born in a hospital. And then if you think about like where do you mature at? You mature at school. So hospital, school, kind of like that in a sense. Thanks for following, guys. Thanks for liking the live. Thanks for joining. If you're just joining, we're going over the lymphatic system for anatomy and physiology. I have an AMP2 exam on lymphatic system on Tuesday. So far, I'm getting all these correct. Awesome. That is a very good indicator. Yes. All of these are the kind of like more basic questions that you should, not really basic, but definitely like some foundational immunity / lymphatic stuff that you should definitely know. I emailed you. Awesome. Off topic. Hold on one sec. Let me make sure I'm looking at your questions. Yes. But they mature in the thymus. Yes. Are these? Yes, these questions are free to get on my Instagram. Do you go over the lab? Yes, sometimes I do. Yep. So the difference between B cells and plasma B cells. So B cells are lymphocytes, and they are mostly in the adaptive immune system. They have antibodies on them that recognize specific antigens. So they work with T cells and differentiate. So B cells can differentiate into plasma B cells or let me put this here. So B cell. They can differentiate or specialize into plasma B cells or memory. Essentially, this is like they just lie in the plasma and they secrete antibodies. And memory is for long-term immunity. Things like that. But plasma B cells, when they're activated, they secrete antibodies. They are available mainly and primarily to mass produce antibodies or immunoglobulins, essentially to neutralize pathogens. Unlike like normal B cells, they don't have like surface BCRs, since their job is like to secrete them and not detect antigens. So these do not detect antigens. They are responsible for secreting antibodies. So that's like pretty much like the difference. Does that answer the question for that one there? Hopefully I'm not missing too many people's question. Yes, memory would be like when you become immune to chickenpox. Yes, that is correct. Let me make sure that I got you guys here. Wait, I want this test to be on my Instagram afterwards. So plasma B cells are kind of activated through like antigen recognition through regular B cells. So regular B cell will encounter an antigen, and that B cell receptor will bind to an antigen. And then when that antigen is internalized, that's what causes the B cell surface to produce MHC class 2 molecules. And essentially, its T cell will help recognize that, and then it'll cause like the B cell to go through like mitosis, which will split it into plasma cells. So the B cell, once the B cell recognizes the antigen, it'll split into a plasma cell, and that plasma cell will be responsible for secreting antibodies that this B cell has recognized. So if that makes sense, it's like calling all the dogs, you know. It's like this is like sounding the alarm, basically, like calling for backup. Call for backup, kind of. So that's what like this is. And then this is like, I don't know, think of like your history book. Like this is like the Battle of Bunker Hill or something in terms of like pathogen or something. Hopefully that helped explain that a little better. I do a live on the circulatory and cardiovascular system. Absolutely. Send me an email. For sure. The alarm system. Yep. Alright, anyway, let's move on to number 11 here. Cytokine simulate. Yes, they can simulate it, yes. As in differentiated. Alrighty. Alright, moving on. 11. What type of lymphocyte directly attacks infected or cancerous cells? Number 12, a little explanation, please. Yeah, when we get to 12, we'll definitely do an explanation on that one, for sure. But 11, what type of lymphocyte directly attacks infected or cancerous cells? The key here is directly attacks. The key is directly attacks. Alrighty. So the answer here is C, cytotoxic T cells. So these essentially are responsible for like directly killing infected or cancerous cells. They release perforin. That's essentially why. Can I go faster? We'll go as fast as we need to get everything explained for everybody. If you want to go faster, it'll be on my YouTube afterwards, and you can speed up it there. But if you're just joining here, thank you for joining. We're going over some of the lymphatic system here. Do we need an explanation on that one, or are we good to move on to 12? Thanks for following, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining and following. All my study guides as well are on my website. If you would like some good notes, I use those to get an A in the class. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking the live. And thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate you. You guys are awesome. All right, we're going to move on to number 12 then. Yeah, neutrophils are not lymph. They're white blood cells. So these are white blood cells, WBCs. Which antibody is the first to respond to an infection? Which of the first is first to respond to an infection? And there was a explanation on that one. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer this one. This one is a little can potentially be a little hard to get here, but we'll go over it. Helper T cells help B cells recognize antigens and attack them. So B cells will recognize them and T cells will attack. Thanks for liking the live, guys. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate you. Thanks for all the following. Again, my notes to this are on my bio as well. If you guys are looking for some anatomy and physiology notes and don't have time to make them yourself. Alrighty, so the answer here is immunoglobulin M. This is produced during the primary during primary immune response. So this is the first antibody that is synthesized by B cells. So the B cells become active and they begin producing immunoglobulin M. So B cells. It is essentially, it has 10 antigen binding sites, so it's very effective in trapping and neutralizing organs or pathogens. Sorry, put 10 antigen sites. It's produced very rapidly, pretty much like within days of an exposure to some sort of infection, and it activates the complement system, so that increases the pathogen system. So we can go over why the other answers are wrong, but IgA here is primarily found in like mucosal secretions, so essentially like your saliva, like tears, gut lining. It produces like mucosal immunity, but it's not the first one. Immunoglobulin E is mostly for like an allergic reaction. And it's like a parasite defense. It mostly binds to mast cells and basophils. It's not typically a first responder to infections, but it's mainly responsible for triggering histamine in these allergic reactions. So more so for inflammation. And then immunoglobulin G is it is the most abundant in the, so it's most abundant. Yes. But it's in the blood, obviously, but it appears later, so it's later in the immune response. So this is more so for like, this is what's going to be our long-term immunity. I can see how you could mess up with like immunoglobulin E for an allergic reaction triggering, like, because a lot of first responses to immune responses are inflammation, but it's typically responses due to an allergic reaction, not necessarily an infection. It doesn't really respond first to infections. Alrighty, so was that a good explanation for that, or were people confused? Was there an issue with that? Do I have a degree? I have a master's degree in molecular medicine. I have a bachelor's in biology with a focus on, I think it's actually IgE. It is not. I do have a master's in molecular medicine. I've studied the immune system far more than I'd like to admit. IgA is a chew like sneezing, yeah. We're good on that explanation. Does anyone have an issue with that? Thanks for all the likes, guys. Thanks for following. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking the live. I really appreciate you guys. But if no one has any issues with that, do we all understand that? If so, I'll move on. Thanks for following. I really appreciate it. Again, this will be on my Instagram afterwards. Yes. Great, fantastic. It'll be on my Instagram afterwards on IG, and then the recording will be on YouTube afterwards. Alrighty. So number 13, the right lymphatic duct drains lymph from which region of the body? We're on number 13 now. We're looking at what excuse me, the right lymphatic duct drains lymph from which region of the body? For 12, to remember them, I think gamed. Yeah, that's actually a really good mnemonic for that, Arlie. So yes, the answer is A. The right arm, right side of the head, and right thorax. Moving on, number 14. What do antigen-presenting cells, APCs, do? Move on to number 14. Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that one, but we are number 14. What do antigen presenting cells, or APCs, do? No, because why do I have an immunology test this week? This is perfect. I'm doing it because a lot of people have been requesting it. I do do requests to my email if you would like to request a live topic. So I'm glad that it worked out that a lot of people are going through this right now. I can do another immune system live if so many people are on the topic right now. I have a heart and immunology midterm next week. Oh, good luck on your midterm. Alrighty, anyway. The answer is C. Present foreign antigens to activate T cells. Currently taking AMP and have a practical Thursday. Good luck on your practical. You got this. Pulmonary module tomorrow. Yes, I have clinical immunology. Awesome. Respiratory lab. Yeah, I can do a respiratory system lab. I also did one a couple days ago. It's on my YouTube. The recording is for it. Alrighty. Moving on to number 15 here. Which of the following cells is involved in allergic reactions? But again, you can request live topics at my email. But yes, you guys are getting it right. Good job. C is C, mast cells. If you're just joining, thanks for joining. We're going over the lymphatic system for anatomy and physiology. Moving on to number 16 now. Which chemical is released by cytotoxic T cells to destroy infected cells? Again, here, if you're just joining, thanks for joining. Here, we're going over the lymphatic system. I appreciate you guys liking and sharing the live. Again, this will be on YouTube afterwards. The recording will. I do have a question bank of heart questions. I don't, but I'm actually making one right now. Whoever asked about the question bank, if you want to send me an email, I can kind of update you on that when that one's going to get made and whatnot. But I do have notes. No, this is not step 1 level. This is about this is like introduction to anatomy, like pre-nursing, pre-med, like exercise science. So right now we're on question 16 right now. Question 16. Alrighty. We are on number... Yeah, this is A&P 2. So this is typically for anatomy and physiology 2. So the second semester of it. The answer is B, perforin. It's a chemical that released by cytotoxic T cells to destroy infected cells. Which I think I added up here. Yeah, so they release perforin. Number 17, which of the following is an example of passive immunity? An example of passive immunity. We kind of went over this a little bit earlier. Where did I get these questions from? I made these questions myself. I have done lives on the cardiovascular system before. They're on my YouTube, and then my Instagram also has. So, which of the following is an example of passive immunity? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that one. We're going to ask, do you have any questions about the digestive system and anatomy and physiology? Yes, I actually did. I'm doing another digestive system lab this week. But I did a digestive system practice test on a live before. And you can find those questions on my Instagram. And then I also have a video on the digestive system on YouTube as well from the replay of the live. So number 17 is C, breastfeeding. Went over that a little bit earlier. Number 18, what is the function of the complement system and immunity? Receiving a flu shot, we went over some of these earlier. So it's artificial immunity. It's artificial. I think TikTok is trying to tell me to study. Artificial is not active. It's artificial. So number 18 here is C, enhancing phagocytosis and inflammation. This is good notes. Alrighty. Number 19, what is a characteristic of an autoimmune disease? What is a characteristic of an autoimmune disease? Moving on to number 19. Where were you last semester? I was making videos last semester. So I don't know. I guess not here. I wasn't doing lives though. I only started doing lives like pretty in the last last month or two. I'll have it here. This is when the immune system mistakenly targets its own body cells. Thanks for following, everybody. I really appreciate it. If you're just joining here, we're going over the lymphatic system. Can I share this practice exam? Yes, it will be on my Instagram afterwards. It is. But number 20 asks, what is the function of regulatory T cells? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that. I don't have a video. What if you don't have Instagram? It'll be on, you can get it on YouTube then. Do I ever do step 1 material? Not normally, but I can. If you send me an email on some topics you'd like to see, I definitely can. I can do like a step 1 exam. But that's my email. Just send me an email about like what topics you want to see on there. But number 20 is B. It suppresses the immune responses to prevent overreaction. Number 21 asks, which lymphoid organ is responsible for erythrocyte destruction and iron recycling? This is making me miss school. I need to get back into looking for a master's PhD program. I didn't respond to your email. Who didn't I respond to? I apologize. Send me another email then. I'm not sure which email I didn't respond to. Yes, YouTube. It's linked in my bio. Please, endocrine system. Yeah, I did a video on endocrine system before. It is on it's in the link in my bio. This NCLEX, it's kind of like pre-nursing, pre-med, things like that. It might, some of these questions might end up being on your NCLEX though. But number 21 here. Wait 1 second. I'll sit for the board soon. Good luck. Good luck. The answer for 21 is C, spleen. So the spleen is responsible for erythrocyte destruction. Again, the spleen is responsible for filtering dead red blood cells. So this, again, we have the little diagram of a recycling. We are recycling iron. Number 22, which antibody is most abundant in mucosal secretions like saliva and tears? Which antibody is most abundant in mucosal secretion like saliva and tears? Went over this a little bit earlier as well. I have a midterm physiology on Thursday. Good luck on your midterm. All right. So the answer here is immunoglobulin A. As we mentioned earlier, it goes over saliva like tears, things like that, or like in the gastrointestinal tract. Number 23 asks, which lymphocytes subset is primarily responsible for immune memory? I miss A and B classes. Me too. That's why I'm out here doing this. Which lymphocyte is responsible for immune memory? My medicine, yes. But the answer is C. Memory B cells. Moving on. Number 24. Which molecule is responsible for allowing cytotoxic T cells to recognize infected cells? I'm in the research side of medicine, so I'm working on applying to my PhD right now. I just finished my master's degree in November, so more so in like cancer medicine. You're smart. I wish. I try to be. I definitely try to be. Congrats on the master. Thank you. Which PhD program am I looking to? I'm looking into molecular medicine. Hi, Ollie. Have you uploaded any type of video on the PNS, CNS? Not yet. I'm actually working on one right now. Thank you. Thank you for all the congratulations. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Preparing for my T's and I'm scared. Don't worry. Don't be scared. You definitely got this. You definitely got this. But anyway, 24 is A. It's MHC class 1. These are responsible for presenting like abnormal peptides, recognition of like CD8 T cells, stuff like that, activation and killing. Moving on to number 25. You guys are already on that one. Are there any MS1? This is more so like pre-nursing stuff, like pre-nursing, pre-med, like exercise science stuff. That's what these questions are kind of aimed more toward. I'd be more than happy to create like a medical school level like practice test if you guys would be interested in it. You just have to send me an email and I would definitely look into it. Yes, please. Yeah, just send me an email. Let me doing all this right now in your immunology lecture. That's fantastic. So a patient with lymphedema likely has a problem with which function? You guys have already been answering this one. But it is lymph drainage. You guys are correct. So our little last set of questions here. Which part of an antibody determines its class? I can get on my Instagram. Yeah, these are not. So again, it's the like antibody class, not antigen specificity. Settings to become a. So the answer is C. It's a constant. This is for our antibody, and a lot of you put A. The variable region is for antigen specificity. Do I have a recommendation for our research in medicine, like underexplored fields? Honestly, I think like medication interactions is like a very unexplored field. If you think about it, like you have like common the most like so if you have so you normally have to know the most common 200 medications and its interaction with each one. If you type in 200 to the 200th power, the answer is infinity. So that's why I believe that. Alrighty, moving on to number 27. What is the function of interferons in the immune system? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer that one. The answer is B, yes. Inhibiting viral replication. Number 28. Which of the following is a major function of lymphatic system and digestion? Indigestion. A little hiccup there. You learned some of this in microbiology. Did I ever consider going to PA school? I've thought about it. I originally wanted to go to medical school. But after I worked in a pharmacy for 5 years, I scribed for a year. I just kind of lost my passion for working in a hospital. But I was still always like super in love with like medicine and like I love learning about this stuff. So that's kind of what led me down my path of research. Pathology program at Stanford. Yeah, I've heard about that one. Yeah, I think my dream PhD program would be at Johns Hopkins for sure. That's definitely where I'd like to go. Tips for physiology. My best tips for physiology or pathology. I'm sorry. Pathology. I think definitely going through like. Let me think about that. I haven't really given tips, it's been like a couple months since I've taken pathology. But for pathology, I really focused on like learning like. So like normal physiology. So kind of like what's the normal phys, and then like what dysfunction, what makes it dysfunction, and then what's the result, what like results, and being able to explain the normal physiology, what causes it to dysfunction, and then what happens as a result of it. That's kind of what I always focused on. What book did I use in physiology? I used Costanzo's Physiology. I have it linked in my recommendations. So for physiology, I use Costanzo. And then for pathology, I used Robbins. But anyway, 28. What is the major function? It is B. Number 20. Moving on to number 29. I have a test on Tuesday. So glad I came across your live. I'm so glad that you came across it as well. I hope it helps. I definitely hope you do well as well. Good luck. What are you using to take these notes on the PDF? I'm using GoodNotes. Number 29. Which of the following best describes clonal selection? Do you feel the? Sorry, I bumped into my thing. So do I feel the iPad is worth it? I do think it's worth it. Yes. It speeds up the process so much. Like I have files and files of things on here from all like from like 6 years of college, and it's just been so helpful. I know they're expensive. I know they're not accessible. They're not needed, but they're definitely worth it in my opinion. Like this is my baby, honestly. Like I do everything on this thing. Yeah, gosh. I'm pre-med. Yeah, if you're pre-med, I definitely recommend. Especially for like anatomy and like yeah, it's just so easy. But yes, the answer is B. The process where B cells with specific receptors proliferate after antigen exposure. Alrighty. We have our last question here. Number 30. Which immune cell is responsible for formulating granulomas and diseases like tuberculosis? You guys a couple seconds to answer that one. Yes, iPad is used for medical school. They work good, they're good for like I would say almost any like major, especially like that where you need to write things out and like you kind of need more like your notes are more like through processes and such things like that. Give you guys a couple seconds to answer. Which immune cell is responsible for formulating granulomas and diseases like tuberculosis? So the answer. Okay, 7 more seconds. Answer is C. Macrophages. Plasma B cells produce antibodies, but they don't form granulomas. Neutrophils are first responders in like acute affections, and they die quickly. And mast cells are in like allergic reactions and stuff. You'll start paying me. I'm on a streak. It's a B cell. Sorry. B cell. Alrighty. I can definitely answer a couple quick questions here before I go, but that was the end of the practice questions. But thanks for liking the live. Thanks for joining. I can answer a couple questions here before I go. I'll find those. Yes, so let's go over my resources real quick, and then we'll talk. So YouTube, you can find the recording. It's my name, or you can go to the link in my bio. Instagram is where you're going to find pictures of this so you can download. Thank you, all of you awesome. You're just as awesome as well. Medzig.ollie. And then you can request topics at my email. gmail.com. And then you can get my study guides on Medzig, which is my website. That's linked in my bio as well. Alrighty. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's linked there. This will be posted afterwards. I failed anatomy, now onto physiology. How can I best master anatomy? Practice labeling. For anatomy, like it's kind of like what and where things are. So when you are live, yeah, I'll put it on my story. But here is tomorrow, so Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, we're gonna go over some nervous system stuff. But I'm looking for a second topic, and you can send me requests on my email for a second topic. So yeah, anatomy, like what and where things are, flashcards, practice labeling, do them over and over again. Use pictures from your class. Use pictures outside of class, like from your lab book, your lectures, things like that. So some more immunology and hematology, please. Yes, I can do that. This is the second. It's a little older. I got this back in 2020 or 2019. Sorry, 2019. I got this in 2019. So it's the second generation. Yes, send me an email and remind me. Yes, please. Please send emails. I prioritize the emails for requests for things like this, so definitely email. Definitely an email. And then again, you guys can get my study guides on my website and everything like that. I'll put study guides, things like that. My reference for physiology. Let me look at that textbook real quick. It's Guyton Hall. What textbook is it? Because I have Costanzo Physiology. That's what I used. Maybe I can order something. Textbook of Medical Physiology. Okay, I have heard of that one, yeah. How much is it? Maybe I can write it off on my taxes or something to use it for this. Guyton Hall is great. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think were you the one who also said something about Guyton Hall, Pamela? I think I remember you saying something. Good night, Ollie. Thank you so much for the next. Yeah, good night. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you everybody for joining. Yes, it was. Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember like that name sounded familiar. I could potentially look into getting that book. It's 23% off right now. It's $57 for good condition used. Yeah, I could potentially look into it. But I use Costanzo Physiology typically. That was used in my graduate program. Were there any other questions here before I go? Did anyone have any questions? Just any quick questions before I go? I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Or again, all my study guides are on my website. See you tomorrow. Get some rest. Yeah, you too. Is useful for board exam. Okay. I like Costanzo Physiology. I thought it was I don't know. It was good night, Pamela. Thanks for joining. There were things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. I think the diagrams were a little lackluster. I think the wording is very helpful, though. In undergrad, we used her book. Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's a little lackluster on the diagrams for sure. But other than that, I don't have any complaints about it. But again, definitely follow me on YouTube if you want to watch the recordings. I have other recordings from other topics, but these will get uploaded afterwards. Is there a chance I'll go to medical school? The chances are definitely not zero, but as of right now, probably not. I'm more so looking to get my PhD and stay in a lab. I'm not. I did the whole scribing thing, and I did not really like my patients driving my workflow. To be honest, I kind of like doing work and hitting deadlines and things like that. So I'll definitely be back for nervous system tomorrow. Definitely need for my midterm. Awesome! Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you for joining. So definitely not zero. The chances are not zero, but I just don't think. I think I kind of lost my passion for it after. I worked in the pharmacy for 5 years, and then I scribed for a year, and I just lost my passion for being in a clinic. I got burnt out very fast. I started peak COVID, so 2020. So all of that, all the 50, 60-hour work weeks during COVID were not fun. So. Next month we will be taking neuroanatomy. Oh, neuroanatomy is fun. Neuroanatomy is definitely fun. For CNS, will it also be just? Will there also be questions or overall discussion? It'll be some questions, and then we'll go over some topics on what like people need some help with. So mostly like cranial nerves. We'll go over some of like the physiology and things like that. I want to become an RN since elementary school. Oh, you want to be an elementary school nurse? Yeah, that's kind of a move. I know somebody who does that. Apparently, it's a really chill job. Yeah, we can eventually do a case topics for sure. I've done those previous. Hey, I've done a couple questions like that in the past. I can add a few in. Yes, Yes, for sure. Good vacation breaks. Alrighty. Were there any more quick questions here before I end the live? Any more questions? Okay, we're learning CNS penis this week, specifically sensation and movement. Gotcha. I did my master's I finished early, so I did mine in like a year and like half of a semester. I had it was a year and like an 8 week semester thing. I've graduated in November. So currently going through all the application stuff right now for PhD programs, so fingers crossed. Oh, you're actually planning to have a master's in immunology? Yeah, mine's in molecular medicine. I think I love my master's is like my favorite. I kind of like regret rushing it a little more. I kind of wish I would have not did that. Oh, okay, that sucks. Are there any more quick questions here before I go? I do have to get going here, so. I do appreciate everybody for joining and for liking the live and for answering and for following. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, good night. Yeah, thank you. Good night to you as well. Yeah, you guys make this so much fun. I appreciate it because I want to enhance my knowledge in the medical field. Yeah, no, definitely. What's the nervous system? The nervous system has to do with like your nerves, your central nervous system, your peripheral nervous system. Yeah, thank you as well. But the nervous system will be tomorrow. We'll be going over that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just about. Anything else? Thanks for following. Yeah, definitely give me a follow. I'll definitely be live again. I go live every day from Sunday through Friday. But alrighty, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching.